In this video, we will talk about job and purpose questions on the ACT Science. My name is Katya Sieberson, the inventor of the Sieberson method, a scientifically proven way to learn anything fast, including the ACT Science questions. How would you approach a question like this? The purpose of experiment 2 was most likely to determine the relationship between. As one of my private clients, Kai, would jokingly say, I don't know, why are you asking me that? I didn't design the experiment. But really, how would you determine this question? Here, you need to master the concept of independent and dependent variables, because a purpose of any experiment is always to determine the relationship between your independent and your dependent variables. And if you guys have not seen our video on independent and dependent variables, what are you doing? Immediately go watch that video. I'll link it up above and also post it in the box comment below this video. But seriously, what are you doing? Now, if you know what dependent and dependent variables are, you just wanted to stay in this video for the job and the purpose questions, good. So any purpose of an experiment is to determine the relationship between independent and dependent variables. I know I said it twice, but this is so important to understand. So let's try to tackle this question with this new knowledge. As we go to this test 72F, we're going to notice that the legend is giving us our independent variable, what is being varied, and we also have moles. Guess what? Our P is our dependent variable. So what are we trying to establish? We're trying to see the relationship between P and N. N is right here on the x-axis, while T and V are held constant. Remember from our previous video, if T and V are not mentioned in the graph, we can just assume that they're held constant. And you can read right here and you can see that T was held constant at 400, but you don't really need to do that. If it's not mentioned in the graph, it was held constant. There are some other questions that could startle you. For example, what was the purpose of a sand bath? If you're like me, I do not know a lot of people who take sand baths. But the sand, and that's something that you need to know, that is your prior knowledge, is a very good retainer of heat. So when something is being placed on a sand bath, it is being placed there so that the heat would then distribute evenly and keep something warm. But the key component here is that the heat will be distributed evenly. Armed with this new knowledge, let's tackle this question. If you said B, you are right. However, I just want to point you to some tricks that the ACT is trying to use. Why do you think right there they used an ice water and they actually drew the ice cubes for you? Because they're trying to trick you. They're hoping that you will overlook that you're looking at the sand bath, and guess what? Answer choice A is to partially cool the test tube. Yes, an ice bath's job is to partially cool the test tube, but answer choice A would be incorrect because it would not answer the question, because question 23 is asking you about the job of the sand bath, and the job is to evenly distribute the heat to the flask. Now, I want you to always know some of the typical jobs of some of the tools in the experiments. For example, what is a job of an H2O bath? Not an ice bath, but an H2O bath. Its job is to help whatever is in the flask or whatever is in the tube to evenly or to slowly adjust to the temperature of the H2O. That's why you're using the bath. The words there are gradually or evenly or slowly, to slowly adjust, to gradually adjust to the temperature of the H2O bath. What is the purpose of tagging? Tagging is always used with animals. And why are you tagging the animals? You're tagging the animals to prevent counting them twice. And that's why you tag them. A couple of other commonsensical things are mesh. What is the purpose of mesh? The purpose of mesh is to avoid maybe contamination. Maybe you have animals or insects sitting in a petri dish or sitting in a jar. Then you're going to use a mesh in order to prevent them from jumping out. Common sense.